She laughed during their divorce, but when his $2 million wealth was revealed, everything changed. Emma stood in front of the brightly colored welcome sign at the Maplewood Library. The place was filled with the scent of old books, a comforting aroma that always soothed her nerves. Holding her smile steady, she stifled the chaos of her heart. Just a few months ago, the gossip was about her and Jack, how they had loved and laughed during countless neighborhood barbecues. Now, it was a different story. The laughter felt like a distant memory, replaced by tension and uncertainty. As she sorted through a pile of new books, laughter echoed faintly in her mind, but it became a mask for the unease simmering beneath her facade. The announcement hit like a thunderclap, a text from Sharon, her closest friend. Jack's back. Millionaire status. Emma felt the breath catch in her throat. What? She whispered to herself, gripping the edge of the table. $2 million, he had flaunted, rolling back into their quiet suburban life like nothing had changed, as if he hadn't abandoned their family. Emma had always valued hard work and humility. More than Jack's charm, she cherished the laughter they shared and the warmth of their children's hugs. Now, those memories twisted in her gut as sickening betrayal. Jack, with his new wealth, shrugged off the responsibilities he left behind. Suddenly, all the neighbors who once rallied around her now whispered about the fortune that made him a star in their small town. He's a millionaire, Emma, they murmured, their pity stings sharper than blades. Just as despair threatened to consume her, she caught a glimpse of Ben, the local veteran, adjusting his faded baseball cap as he watered the community garden. There was something resolute in his presence, like a rock amidst the waves crashing around her. With each friendly nod, Emma felt something shift. It was a reminder that not all riches come with a price tag. She found solace in their brisk chats about the weather and gardening tips. The compassion radiating from him reminded her of the stronger essence of people resilience and kindness that far surpassed financial status. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With Ben's friendship igniting a new spark in her spirit, Emma realized she was not alone. The turmoil inside her began to settle. She stood firm, ready to face Jack, her heart hardened by the bittersweet laughter that had once been a hallmark of their life. The community that had witnessed her joy craved authenticity, and that was worth more than any amount of money. As she stepped out of the library that day, a profound strength filled her. Emma was ready to embrace her worth and not let Jack's misplaced priorities define her. The stakes felt high, but underneath her laughter was a newfound resolve to confront him and reclaim her sense of self. With the town behind her, she felt emboldened. There was no way she would let Jack's wealth overshadow the true riches of love, laughter, and community. But as she turned the corner, a familiar silhouette emerged from the trees. It was Jack. Would she let fear overwhelm her, or would she stand tall in her truth? The weight of her emotions hung heavy in the air, leaving readers eager to find out what would unfold next. Emma's heart raced as the sunlight glinted off Jack's sleek car. For a moment, everything around her blurred: the chatter of children at the park, the rustling leaves of the nearby oak tree, even the anxious rhythm of her own breathing. Her world narrowed to just the man who had once been her partner in laughter, now a figure of wealth and worry. "Emma," Jack called, his voice smooth, almost casual, as if they hadn't shared a life once, as if they weren't sitting in their lawyer's office just months before, tearing apart the seams of their marriage. He stepped closer, a confident grin plastered on his face, but it didn't reach his eyes. The glossy facade felt like a slap. "What do you want, Jack?" she asked, struggling to keep her tone steady. The lingering resentment of lost years clashed with the tight ache in her chest at the sight of him. "Can we talk? Please?" He glanced around, seemingly aware of the eyes on them, the curious neighbors already peeking from behind their curtains. She hesitated. Was it worth it? Did she truly want to relive old wounds in the glaring light of day? A quick look at her shoes, the scuffed sneakers she wore while running errands compared to his polished, designer loafers, made her realize she didn't have to compete with him. She breathed deeply, steadied her shoulders, and nodded. Fine. Let us talk. She led him towards a secluded bench. While she sat, Jack remained standing, shifting ever so slightly, as if unsure of how to fit into her new reality. I just wanted to explain, he began, but she cut him off. Explain? You left, she said, her voice rising. You walked away from our family and suddenly you're doing just fine with your new life? The bitterness curled on her tongue, tasting of the sacrifices she had made. He rubbed the back of his neck, visibly uncomfortable. I made mistakes, Emma. I know that. He took a step closer, lowering his voice. But now things are different. I want to show the kids that I can be there for them. That I can be a better dad. And I thought what? She interrupted, narrowing her eyes, feeling a surge of protective energy for their children. That money would make everything right? That you could just waltz back in and act like you hadn't changed? Jack sighed, running his fingers through his hair, a dramatic gesture that used to send her heart fluttering. Now it made her feel sick. I just want a chance to be part of their lives again, he said, almost pleading. Emma searched his face for sincerity. Was he really sorry? Or was this just another game of his, one he thought he could win with charm and wealth? That's not how parenting works, Jack. It's not about money or appearances. As if the world had slowed down, the weight of each word hung in the air heavy. Her voice trembled with emotion as she continued, You don't get to pick and choose when it's convenient for you to show up. Jack opened his mouth, but before he could respond, she added, I need to think about what's best for the kids. Not you, not your new life. Silence poured between them, thick with tension. Emma felt her resolve harden, her heart beating steadily against the fear that threatened to creep in. Just then, Ben walked past. He offered a nod, a silent affirmation that she wasn't alone in this. Watching Jack, she felt empowered. It wasn't just about winning or losing. It was about something deeper, her own truth and the love she had forged in the community around her. But as she prepared to stand, Jack's next words lingered in the air, chill biting through her newfound strength. Emma, what if I told you there's more to this? More than just money? She froze, curiosity piquing despite herself. What could he possibly reveal that would change everything again? The weight of her pulse quickened, and she felt both dread and anticipation, a mixture that left her teetering on the edge of a revelation she wasn't ready for. What was Jack hiding? Would it shatter the fragile sense of control she had just built? Emma's heart thudded in her chest, each beat amplifying the uncertainty that gnawed at her. She studied Jack's face, searching for any hint of deception. Was he about to confess something that would turn her world upside down again? The thought made her stomach churn. More than just money? She echoed, her voice a whisper, laced with a mix of hope and wariness. The park around them buzzed unaware, children's laughter ringing out as they chased one another on the grass, a carefree contrast to the tumult within her. Jack took a deep breath, grounding himself as he seemed to search for the right words. Emma, it's about the investment I made right after we split. My company, your company? Emma interrupted, eyebrow raised. The one you abandoned to chase whatever vision you had? The one that didn't include our family? He clenched his jaw, frustration flickering in his eyes. It's more complicated than that. I had to rebuild myself, and I did. The company took off, Emma. I've been successful. So that's it? She challenged, crossing her arms. You expect me to be impressed by your success now? You think that changes what you did? No. Jack's voice rose defensively, but then softened. I'm trying to say what? That I should care about your newfound wealth? Your success? Her own anger surprised her. It felt foreign, uncomfortable, yet liberating. She wasn't just hurting. She was fiercely protective of the life she'd crafted alone. Emma, let me finish. He stepped closer, lowering his voice again. I want to provide for our kids, yes. But there's more. I'd like to get them things they didn't have before, the lessons, the experiences. I want to be the dad who shows them the world. And what do you think you're giving them? Money? Material things? She shot back, shaking her head. Is that all you think they need? Not all, he said, desperation seeping into his tone. I was wrong to leave. The money is just part of it. I want to share my life with them, Emma. Didn't he realize what I was missing? Emma glanced away, her eyes drawn to the children playing. All those moments they'd lost together felt like shards of glass, piercing her heart. Why was he doing this now? Did he genuinely wish to reconnect, or was this yet another ploy to ease his guilt? Is that why you're here to buy them, us? With money? The tears threatened to spill over, but she fought them back. Jack sighed, rubbing his temple as if trying to ease the growing tension. I know I don't deserve your trust. But I want you to understand it's not just about money. I want to be present. I've realized how wrong I was. I can't change the past, but please, let me try to be better. The sincerity in his eyes flickered for a moment, pulling on her heartstrings. Could he actually be trying to change? But before she could respond, he added, I'm launching a new community initiative, something I'm passionate about. I want the kids to see me fighting for what's right, for those who don't have a voice. With my wealth, I can do something meaningful beyond just providing. Emma's breath caught in her throat. Was he serious? A community initiative? A cause? The words hung in the air like a potential lifeline. Why now, Jack? Why after all this time? She asked, her mind racing as mixed emotions swirled around her. He took a step closer, desperation etched in his features. Because I've changed. I want to do more than just be an estranged dad with money. I want to be someone they can look up to. As the weight of his words settled around them, Emma felt her defenses beginning to crack. A part of her longed to believe him, to see a glimpse of the man she had once loved. But could she really trust him again? Emma, he pressed gently, give me a chance to prove it. To show you I can do this. The warmth in his voice stirred something deep within her, yet doubt still loomed heavy in the air. Could she take that leap of faith after everything they had endured? Maybe I don't know, she admitted, anxiety mixing with a spark of hope. Jack nodded, his eyes brightening ever so slightly. Let me show you. Just give me a little time. As she gathered her thoughts, the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows that seemed to mirror her tangled emotions. Could he break the cycle of hurt they had lived through? But now a new question stirred within her, leaving the path ahead foggy and uncertain. What if his change was real and he was about to reveal something even more significant about the initiative? And she had to ask herself, was she ready to navigate the uncharted waters of trust with him once more? The lingering thoughts spiraled as she realized everything was about to shift again. Would she find hope in Jack's new purpose? Or would the trip down this road lead to another painful goodbye? Emma stood still, the world around her fading into a blur. Jack's words washed over her like a gentle tide, and she felt herself buried beneath the weight of possibility. Could he truly want to change? Could he really mean it? Emma? His voice pulled her back, a soft beacon seeking light in her turmoil. What do you want me to say? She replied, her voice trembling slightly. Do you want me to just forget everything? The hurt, the anger? Just like that? The words came out sharper than she intended, but her heart ached too much to soften her tone. I know it won't be easy, Jack said, his gaze steady with sincerity. But I'm willing to fight for it. For us, for the kids. The initiative isn't just professional for me, it's personal. I want to create something good. Something meaningful that they can be proud of. And what does that even look like? You think throwing money at a project will magically fix things? Will it heal the years of damage? She couldn't help it. The passion surged through her, demanding to be acknowledged. It's a start, Emma. It's not just financial resources. It's about involvement, leading by example. He took another step forward, urgency in his eyes. I want them to see that it's possible to make a difference, to be compassionate and engaged. I want them to see me doing that with my life. She wanted to scoff. What if they see you as another generic successful dad with a checkbook? What then? The thought pressed on her chest, threatening to suffocate her lingering trust. But I'm not that guy anymore, Jack insisted, desperation breaking through. I've lost my way, but I've found it again. I want to do this together. I don't want to be just someone they can't rely on. I want to be a mentor, a guide. His words struck chords she had long buried. She wasn't ready to completely let him in yet. The cracks of the past were still raw. But what if he could be sincere this time? What is the first step? You say you have plans, she challenged, wanting to see him commit to more than just words. I want to start community cleanup days. I want to organize events where kids can learn about giving back, to see the beauty in serving others while also getting their hands dirty. He leaned closer, his earnestness radiating a warmth she craved. I want to launch after-school programs for kids who need guidance. Our Kids Your Kids could help in these initiatives. Be a part of a change with me. The idea swirled like wind catching fallen leaves, a flurry of color and potential. As she pictured the kids laughing, working side by side with Jack, her heart lightened just a little. But you think that sounds easy, don't you? Just because you want to do it, Emma's voice trailed off as vulnerability washed over her. I just want a chance, he replied softly. To show that I care, to show the kids that this is who I've become. That I've learned from the past. Silence hung heavy between them as Emma fought the emotional tug-of-war within. Should she leap of faith again? Or protect herself and the kids from possible more disappointment? But as she looked at Jack, something deep within her stirred, a flicker of the light they had once shared. The possibility felt both electric and dangerous. What if you fail again? She finally whispered, the fear creeping back in. Then I'll keep trying until I don't, he answered, his voice firm yet gentle. It's a risk. But I believe it could be worth it for you and the kids. Worth fighting for. His determination sparked something in Emma. Hope? Relief? It was a complicated mixture she had nearly forgotten how to recognize. And just when she thought she might give in to that fragile connection, an unsettling thought crept in. What if Jack's willingness to step into this new role came with strings attached? Was he truly ready to face the consequences of his past choices? Before we go any further, I need to think about this. Her words felt heavy, but they were honest. Jack looked down for a moment. Disappointment briefly flickered in his eyes. But then he nodded, understanding swirling in that very gaze. Take all the time you need, Emma. Just know, I'm serious about this. As she turned to head back toward the car, uncertainty still loomed heavy above them like a storm cloud. She couldn't shake the nagging thought that Jack's transformation was as fragile as the autumn leaves fluttering around them. Could their past hold the answers for their future? Or would she regret taking even another step toward Jack? A new tension lingered as the kids called for them, oblivious to the weight the moment carried. Questions were building, and perhaps it was time for Emma to finally confront why letting Jack back in felt like both a possibility and a risk. With each heartbeat, the tension thickened, whispering of revelations just around the corner. What if diving into these uncharted waters could change everything? Emma pulled herself into the driver's seat, heart racing and thoughts tangled like the fallen leaves outside. The kids were chattering happily, oblivious to the storm inside her. She started the car, but the engine's hum felt distant, muted by the weight of Jack's words echoing in her mind. Mom, can we get ice cream? Mia chirped from the back seat. The innocence in her daughter's voice cut through Emma's swirling thoughts. Sure, honey, Emma replied, forcing a smile that felt more practiced than genuine. As they drove toward the ice cream shop, little voices filled the car, a soundtrack she desperately needed right now. It was a reprieve from the chaos of her emotions, but the thought of Jack lingered like a shadow. As they parked, she caught a glimpse of a family at a nearby table, father, mother, and 2 kids, all laughing together. It struck her how simple it all seemed. Jack had always been capable of that sense of belonging and laughter. Was it too late for them? She shook the thought aside, realizing she was giving him too much credit. Mom, hurry up, Ben exclaimed, pulling her back into the present. He was already out of the car, bouncing in excitement. Emma climbed out and joined them, desperately trying to focus on her children. But Jack's commitment to change echoed in her mind, tugging at her heartstrings. She needed to remind herself why she was hesitant. Inside, the smell of waffle cones mixed with sweet cream was comforting. The kids pointed at flavors, eyes wide with wonder. As she watched them, A wave of affection washed over her. This was her purpose. Keeping them safe. Keeping their lives consistent, away from unpredictability. But was it fair to deny them a chance at something sweeter because of her fears? "Mom, I want chocolate chip cookie dough." Mia's energetic plea broke through Emma's pang of indecision. "Okay, one cookie dough coming right up," Emma replied, the line moving slowly, giving her a chance to collect her thoughts. Each scoop of ice cream seemed to symbolize a decision weighing on her. As they settled into a booth, they dug into their treats. Emma watched their excitement, a smile genuinely breaking through as they shared bites and giggled. "Mia, you've got some on your nose," Ben laughed, reaching over to swipe at the chocolate smudge, only to get a dollop of ice cream on his own shirt. "Now we match." Mia squealed, and as she burst into laughter, a memory flooded back. Jack's laughter, too, filled with warmth, had always lit up the room during moments like this. Was he really willing to bring that back? "Mom," Ben's voice jolted her from her nostalgic thoughts. "You okay? You're not eating." "I'm fine, sweetie." "Just thinking," she said, taking a spoonful of strawberry and letting the cool sweetness melt on her tongue. But could she really think this through while grappling with a future that felt uncertain? The weight of trust hung heavy on her shoulders, yet Jack's yearning to prove himself tangled with her instinct to protect. Maybe it was time for a change. As they finished, Emma felt a sense of determination settling over her. There was hope in Jack's sincerity, but she did need to be ready for the consequences of that hope. Maybe she could allow him back in, cautiously, with her eyes wide open. Returning to the car, she caught a glimpse of Jack's truck parked nearby. Her heart shifted. Was he really doing this? Would he show up now, hands on hips, ready for action, or would he stand at a distance, uncertain of how to proceed? The kids clamored about who would get to pick the next playlist as they climbed in, oblivious to the tension surrounding their family dynamics. As Emma gripped the steering wheel, she knew she had to decide soon. Could she risk it again? A change was in the air. Could it come from a choice she made just for them? Or was it too soon to delve into the complexities of hopes and dreams when she was still tender from the past? The question lingered in her mind, unshakable, even as she drove them home. Was she prepared to open that door once again, uncertain of what lay behind it? And just then, as they turned down their street, she saw Jack's car pull into their driveway. He was waiting. Ready. What was she going to do now? As they slowed in front of their house, Emma's heart raced. The familiar sound of the engine idling felt more like an echo than a reality. Jack was there. He was right there. It was as if the air itself thickened with unspoken words, each breath heavy with the weight of their history. "Mom?" Mia's voice pulled her back, the innocence shining through her little face. "Can we go see Daddy?" Emma felt her heart twist. The little girl had always adored Jack, and the bond between them was unbreakable, even when he wasn't present. A tight smile broke through Emma's hesitation. "Of course, sweetie." The kids spilled out of the car, rushing toward Jack, who stood with an uncertain smile, his hands tucked into the pockets of his faded jeans. Emma watched as Mia reached up, pulling at his shirt. "Daddy, look what I got." She held out her half-eaten ice cream cone like an offering. Jack knelt down to meet his daughter, a spark of genuine happiness lighting up his features. "That looks delicious, Mia," he said, his voice warm, even as Emma stayed back, torn between the joy of the moment and her deep-rooted fears. Ben ambled over, too, eager to show his dad the sticky smudge on his shirt. "It's ice cream magic," he declared. The sight of her children with Jack tugged at Emma's heartstrings, filling her with a rush of emotion. They were family, and yet a chasm remained, deepened by the years of heartache and separation. "What kind of magic?" Jack smiled, playful as ever with the kids, but Emma couldn't shake the dread that had settled in her stomach. Was he the same man she once loved, or was he just putting on a show? Was he really committed to change, or would this illusion of warmth vanish like cotton candy? "Hey, Emma." Jack turned to her, his voice cautious but sincere. "Can we talk?" She hesitated, a million thoughts cascading through her mind. The kids were laughing, pulling Jack into a game of pretend, but all she could hear was the echo of broken promises and unfulfilled hopes. What could he say that would change anything? I think we should talk, she finally replied, keeping her tone steady. Mia and Ben's laughter faded into the background as she stepped toward Jack, her heart battling her head. Can we talk out here? He suggested, glancing back at their kids, who were now absorbed in a lively debate about superhero powers. No. Emma shook her head gently but firmly. Let us go inside. It'll be more private. As they entered the house, the familiar creaks of the floorboards underfoot sent a wave of nostalgia over her. This was where they had built their lives together, where dreams and arguments echoed through the rooms, where love had once thrived. In the living room, Emma sat on the sofa while Jack stood across from her. He looked different, more worn than she remembered, but the glimmer of hope was still there. I've missed you, he said softly, vulnerability creeping into his posture. I've missed the person you used to be. Her voice came out more brittle than she intended, but the honesty felt necessary. You had a chance to be the man I believed you could be, but you walked away. I know. His words rushed out, sincere but heavy with regret. I've been working on myself. I'm not the same man. I want to be there for you and the kids truly. Emma held his gaze, searching for any hint of deception yet hoping for sincerity. What changes have you made? It was a loaded question, but she wanted to know if it was real this time. The past few months have been hard, Jack admitted, running a hand through his hair, his eyes searching hers. I've been seeing a therapist, trying to work through my issues. I want to be present for you and for them. Emma's heart pounded. Would she be inviting heartache back into her life? Or was this a step toward rebuilding? What if it happens again? What if I get hurt? Jack stepped forward, his voice earnest. I want to prove myself to you. I can't change the past, but I'm trying to be better. I can't do it alone. The room seemed to shrink around them, the truth weighing heavily in the air. Could she trust him? A new beginning felt like an insurmountable risk, but what if he was different? Just then, the chaos from the kids erupted outside, and laughter bubbled up. It broke the tension, a reminder that love can heal even the deepest of wounds. But was she ready to open that door? Emma, please, Jack continued, his voice trembling slightly. All I'm asking is for a second chance. Suddenly, the possibilities spun around her like autumn leaves caught in the wind. Should she leap into the unknown or safeguard her heart, and what if she let him in, only to find that he hadn't truly changed? The choice hung in the air, sharp and clear, a pivotal moment waiting for her reply. What would she decide? The silence between them stretched, thick with memories and uncertainty. Emma's heart raced against the backdrop of her children's laughter, a stark contrast to the heaviness in the room. It was as if the world outside was alive, while they remained trapped in a moment laden with the past. Emma shifted in her seat, her fingers tracing the fabric of the couch. Memories flooded her mind, late nights spent planning for the future, dreams that now felt like distant stars, just out of reach. Emma? Jack's voice sliced through her thoughts. I know it's a lot to ask, but don't you believe in second chances? His eyes searched hers, full of unspoken fears and vulnerabilities. Second chances. The phrase felt foreign on her tongue, a double-edged sword. Once upon a time I did. But look where it got me. She stared at the floor, unable to maintain his gaze. Mia and Ben are so young, Jack said, defending the simplicity of their children's innocence, as if that alone justified a fresh start. They don't deserve to grow up with a broken family. Emma winced at the truth in his words. She often found herself wondering what they would remember. The joy of their little moments with Jack, or the absence that echoed through the halls. Don't you think they deserve to know their dad is in their life? Jack pressed on. There was desperation beneath his calm exterior, a raw plea that made her heart ache. They need a dad who is present, a dad who won tea leave again. I'm here now, he insisted. I want to be a better father. A better husband. I'm doing the work. His passion ignited a flicker of hope. But what if it wasn't enough? And did hope come with a guarantee? I don't know if I can trust you again. Her voice faltered, revealing the crack in her armor. Jack took a step forward, lowering his voice. I'm asking for the chance to show you. Emma's breath hitched as his sincerity washed over her. Would it be so terrible to let the walls down, even just a little? Yet a nagging insecurity tightened around her heart. Every second they stood there, the weight of uncertainty pressed down harder. What if this moment led to heartache again? Could she bear that? What if he stumbled again? She whispered, her voice barely audible. The words felt heavy, laced with fear. "I want tea," he said, intensity burning in his eyes. "I've never wanted to be without you or the kids. I've realized so much during my time away how much I love this family." The sincerity in his voice tugged at her. It was palpable. Could it truly take just the realization to ignite the change that she desperately longed for? "Love is not just a word, Jack," Emma replied. "It's actions, and you've broken that vow before." "I know." His shoulders slumped, though his gaze didn't falter. "But I'm ready to take real action." "You say love is an action? Here it is, right in front of you. Just give me a chance to prove it." Outside the window, the sunlight glimmered, casting playful shadows on the floor. Mia's giggles floated in from the yard, a sweet reminder of all they had built together. "Emma," his voice broke the spell again. "Just say the word." She could feel the fabric of their lives together stretching, teetering on a precipice. The thought of stepping forward sent a shiver through her. Was she ready to embrace change, to reclaim the possibility of love amidst all the chaos? "And what if I say yes?" Emma asked, her voice now barely above a whisper. But before Jack could answer, the door burst open and Mia charged in, her cheeks flushed from play. "Mom, Dad, can we have pizza night?" "Oh boy, that sounds fun." Jack turned to the kids, the brightness in his eyes radiating. Emma caught herself. The joy in Jack's eyes, ignited by the spark from their children, momentarily shifted the atmosphere. Could the shadow of their past truly be replaced by pizza nights and laughter again? And just like that, the moment hung heavy with potential and opportunity to revisit the door they once closed so tightly. But as uncertainty mingled with hope, Emma wondered, would she have the courage to open it once more? "Just give me some time," she said finally, her heart racing again. Jack nodded, a mix of desperation and understanding etched on his face. "I can wait. I want you to feel safe." As the children's laughter echoed, she couldn't help but wonder what lay ahead. What if their journey was just beginning? And where would it lead them this time? The aroma of melting cheese and pepperoni wafted through the house, pulling Emma's mind away from the heavy conversation. Mia and Ben buzzed around the kitchen, excitedly arranging plates and napkins. Their energy was infectious, and for a moment, the tension in the room faded into a distant memory. As Jack joined in on the pizza preparations, Emma watched him closely, seeking glimpses of the man he once was in the chaos of their kitchen. He playfully teased the kids, spinning around to mimic their laughter. It reminded her of the many nights filled with spontaneous adventures and laughter before everything fell apart. Jack was here, but the question lingered, who was he now? "Did you get pepperoni with extra cheese?" Mia asked, her eyes wide with anticipation. "Of course. I wouldn't miss your favorite," Jack replied, a grin spreading across his face. Emma felt her heart soften slightly. It was moments like this that made her want to believe. But behind that warmth was a flickering fear. Could it be that simple to rebuild what they had lost? As they settled around the dining table, the little patch of chaos fell into a comfortable rhythm. Ben talked nonstop about his day at school while Mia shared exciting plans for summer camp. Jack chimed in, asking questions, genuinely engaging. Each laugh shared, each smile exchanged, chipped away at the walls Emma had so carefully constructed around her heart. But her mind was a swirl of thoughts. Evening light streamed through the window, casting long shadows as the sun began to set, like a stage spotlight on their little world. She hoped for glittering stars and new beginnings, yet reminded herself of the past that lingered like a ghost at the edge of her happiness. "Mom, can we have a movie night after dinner?" Mia's hopeful gaze met Emma's innocence shining brightly. Emma nodded, forcing a smile. "Sure. What do you guys want to watch?" As the kids debated their favorite films, Emma couldn't help but steal a glance at Jack. He was making the kids laugh, pulling out silly voices and animated gestures. But in the stillness between their laughter, Emma saw something deeper in his eyes, an urgency, a need to repair, after dinner, The children rushed to the living room, leaving Emma and Jack alone for a moment. The kitchen was filled with the remnants of their meal, and yet it felt like the weight of the world had returned. Jack started again, his voice hesitant, breaking the comfortable silence that settled. "Can we talk privately?" Her stomach nodded. They had barely scratched the surface earlier, and the idea of diving back in felt overwhelming. But his earnest expression drew her in. She nodded, leading him to the small den where they could talk without children's ears pricking up. "Look, I know I've hurt you," he began, his hands clenched together. "But I want you to know, it's taking everything within me to not run away this time. I want to break the cycle." Emma folded her arms, grappling with a swirl of conflicting emotions. "Do you even know what that means? To break the cycle?" "I do," he said, voice steady. "I want to build something. Something real. A life for our kids. They deserve that, and so do we." The sincerity in his voice held her captive. Slowly, she unfolded her arms, yearning for warmth, but fearful to touch the flame. "What if your real is just another illusion?" Jack stepped closer, a subtle vulnerability in his expression. "Because I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere this time, Emma." Tears pricked at her eyes. There was such weight in his promise, a heaviness derived from reality. The children could be happy, sure. But could they be whole? "Trust is hard," she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. "I understand. Just give me a chance to earn it," he replied softly, all pretense stripped away, leaving just a raw honesty between them. The air thickened with unspoken words, heavy with hope and fear. As the sounds of laughter drifted in from the other room, Emma pondered the enormity of the choice laid out before them. Would their lives be different this time, or was she? Treading dangerously close to patterns long established, outside, the sky deepened into shades of purple and blue, as evening stars began to twinkle, echoing the glimmer of a possibility. Emma's heart raced with a rhythm of possibilities, and she couldn't shake the idea that life, as she knew it, was on the brink of a change. And just as doubt began to wrap itself tightly around her heart once more, a loud crash echoed from the living room, breaking her train of thought. The moment had shifted, the universe readjusting their fragile dynamic. "What was that?" she gasped, propelled back into reality. "Let us go check," Jack urged, swift to usher her back toward their children. Emma's heart pounded sharp and loud in her chest. What if the laughter masked a deeper issue? What if digging into their past unearthed fractures they couldn't mend? But in that fleeting moment of chaos, could a fresh start truly begin from the rubble? As they stepped into the living room, the unexpected knock on the door resonated with potential, tinged with the promise of what might unfold next. Emma felt a future, unknown but tantalizing, step right before her. What awaited them on the other side? The kids were in a frenzy, laughter echoing off the walls, but Emma's attention was firmly fixed on the door. The knock came again, urgent and insistent. She exchanged a glance with Jack, who mirrored her concern. "It must be one of the neighbors," Jack said, his brows furrowing, but Emma felt an uneasy weight in her chest. In that moment, all the laughter and smiles took on a sharper edge. "Let me get it," she said, her feet moving before her mind could register the words. As she approached the door, a quick breath steadied her heart's racing. The moment she swung the door open, her breath caught. A tall man stood there, his presence commanding yet disarming, a warmth in his smile that was hard to ignore. He looked familiar, but Emma couldn't place him. "Emma, right?" he said, his voice smooth, like a kind of velvet armor. "I'm Tom, a friend of Jack's. He invited me over." "Tom?" "From college," Jack chimed in, quick to recall with a mix of relief and confusion. "We lost touch a bit after, well, everything." Emma hung on each word, carefully weighing Tom's tone. Something was off. Why was Jack inviting friends at a time like this? "Hey, Tom. Great to see you." Jack stepped forward, trying to usher the man into their home, but Emma's heart tensed. The spontaneity of Jack's decision stirred up the anxiety she had just begun to calm. "Yeah, great to see you," she echoed, unable to mirror Jack's enthusiasm. The kids dashed over, eager to greet the newcomer, but her unease lingered. Tom clapped hands with Ben, Pats on shoulders for Mia, and before long, the once cozy living room turned into a whirlwind of activity again. Jack's laughter alongside the children filled the air, but Emma stood apart, watching. Conversation flowed quickly, and the easy camaraderie brought Jack's vulnerability to light. It ignited warmth in places she thought frozen. Yet, Tom's gaze lingered on Emma, searching, almost as if he recognized shadows behind her eyes. "What's new with you guys?" Tom asked nonchalantly, a glint sparking in his eyes. Emma felt a bolt of unease prickle her skin. "Oh, Jack began." The laughter faded slightly as he struggled to find the right words. "Just family stuff work, kids." "Family stuff," Tom prompted, a knowing smile creeping to his lips. "Is that what you call it now?" Emma narrowed her eyes. "What do you mean?" "Just that I heard, rumors fly. He chuckled, but there was an edge. She felt caught in a web between past and present, the laughter around her drowning out reason. The door swung wide open with another knock. This time, a woman walked in, bright and bubbly. Her festive laughter danced through the room like a wisp of smoke. "Oh my gosh, I hope I'm not interrupting." Jack greeted her with delight as if she were a breath of fresh air, and Emma's stomach twisted again. "Just some catching up and pizza." Jack replied, his eyes flickering to Emma, seeking assurance. But was this what they needed? A crowd? Just as her thoughts spiraled in uncertainty, Tom stepped closer, speaking softly now, "The crowd will go home soon enough." "What does that mean?" she whispered fiercely. "Sometimes, when people come back into your life, it's to shake things up." He leaned closer. "Maybe you should let the chaos in." The room felt dense, emotions swirling like leaves caught in a storm. As laughter filled the house, the clock pressed forward, ticking like a heartbeat in suspense. Emma's heart clawed for meaning amid uncertainty. An unfamiliar tension wrapped around her, pulling tight, and she searched for clarity. If chaos meant new possibilities, was that the kind of life she wanted? As the laughter faded momentarily into a fragile hush, Emma's eyes darted from Jack to Tom, her heart pounding with questions that buzzed like bees in her chest. What was buried between them, concealed beneath laughter and warmth? Were the truths finally stepping forward, ready to reveal themselves? And in the fleeting chaos that surrounded her, would she be brave enough to confront what lay ahead? The evening stretched forward, thick with potential, and Emma felt every heartbeat thrumming with anticipation. Maybe there's a reason Tom showed up tonight, she thought, a flicker of curiosity igniting inside her. Before she could gather her thoughts, another crash reverberated from the kitchen, making everyone turn. Emma's heart skipped. What could possibly emerge from yet another interruption? Would it lead to revelation or chaos? The sound of shattering glass echoed through the house, jolting Emma from her spiraling thoughts. The laughter abruptly silenced, and a collective gasp filled the room. She felt a rush of adrenaline course through her as she exchanged frantic looks with Jack. "Stay here," she called to the kids, urgency brimming in her voice. Jack nudged Mia and Ben behind him, shielding them from whatever chaos loomed. She rushed into the kitchen, pushing aside the curtain of noise and tension growing in her chest. There on the floor lay a mess of broken plates and shards of ceramic glistening dangerously under the light. A frantic movement caught her eye. Tom had accidentally knocked a stack over, and now he was on his knees, wide-eyed and apologetic. "Oh no, I'm so sorry," he exclaimed, hands raised in surrender. Emma's heart raced for a moment, her instinct screaming at her to react. But a sense of levity fanned the flames of unease. Jack's laughter carried over, breaking the tension. "It's just plates, Tom. No biggie. Just don't trip over your feet next time." It was a light-hearted tease, a familiar melody of laughter she'd longed to hear. As she surveyed the wreckage, Emma felt an unexpected emotion sweep over her relief. Maybe the chaos wasn't so bad. After all, it was just fragments like everything else they had faced together. "We'll clean it up later," she called to Tom, who looked sheepish and embarrassed. "Just be careful." Suddenly, the kids burst into the kitchen, eyes wide with delight rather than concern. "What happened?" Mia asked, peering curiously at the mess. Ben giggled and pointed. "Uncle Tom made a ruckus." Tom chuckled sheepishly, but also seemed relieved at their innocent reception. Jack soon joined, kneeling down to help Tom pick up the remnants of the plates. Emma watched, a smile creeping across her face, as Ben took the opportunity to playfully shove past Jack, declaring himself the cleanup captain. In that moment, the tension began to dissipate and laughter returned, a reminder that life was messy, a blend of chaos and joy. As they all joined in, Emma felt a shift within her. Jack moved fluidly among the kids, interacting with enthusiasm, and a tender warmth washed over her. The laughter around them washed away some of the fear she had clung to so tightly. This was the vision she held onto, the ability for laughter and love to fill the void of uncertainty. Outside, twilight fell, wrapping their home in soft hues. The gathering energy in the house felt electric, each moment charged with the promise of something new. Would they embrace the chaos and allow it to bind them together once more? "Hey, Emma," Jack called as they retrieved the last piece of glass. "What do you say we make a pact?" She raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What sort of pact?" He paused, taking a moment to gather his thoughts, his eyes earnest. "If we can get through this evening, chaos, mess, laughter, and all, let us agree to take this leap forward together. Let us open our hearts and truly show up for each other and the kids." Her chest tightened at the suggestion. A leap forward? Could it mean not just the evening, but the rest of their lives? The kids cheered, declaring their support, blissfully caught up in the whirlwind of family. Looking around at the faces she loved, Emma realized the last remnants of fear were slipping away. They had faced hurt, laughter, loss, and a second chance, and beyond that lay an opportunity to redefine their family. "Okay, let us do it." "Together," she said softly, her voice filled with resolve. Jack's smile mirrored her own, tinged with the vulnerability they had shared. In that simple exchange, she felt the beginnings of hope ignite. As the kids laughed and cheered again, Emma knew they were on the brink of something thrilling, something raw, a recommitment to being present, despite the chaos and uncertainty. This was the moment she had been waiting for, an embrace of love and laughter amidst the mess of life. Unbeknownst to them, outside, the stars twinkled higher, welcoming the promise of a new journey. In the warmth of that moment, Emma recognized that life would always be an extraordinary mess, but it was a mess worth sharing with the people she adored most, their laughter intertwined with all the hopes and dreams of acceptance that lay ahead. "Let us order pizza again soon, but this time no flying plates," Mia called out, and everyone erupted into laughter, joy coursing through them like a current of life. Now was the time to embrace this second chance, to weave together their past and present into a tapestry of love, laughter, and community. Each moment was a piece of a larger picture, a promise awaiting them just beyond the door of possibility. As they settled into the rhythm of togetherness, Ella couldn't help but feel that perhaps, just perhaps, she and Jack were on the path to rediscovering not just their family, but also themselves, and whatever challenges came next, they would meet them head-on. Together, as a united front, this was their moment, and she was ready for the beauty ahead. Now, dear friends, if you found any joy or hope in Emma's journey, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support for true transformations. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this emotional adventure. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, and comment your reactions and feelings about Emma's journey and her new chapter ahead. Let us spread the love and support the channel together.